If you're waiting to the end of the year to put your taxes aside, you have already failed.
Oh my God!
Every decision you make around money is either driven by fear or driven by hope. As business owners, because things are like feast or famine, so we either have a lot of money or like nothing has come in. When we know that we have a big project coming up that's going to bring in a lot of money, we rush. Slow down. Slow down. Why are you rushing? I need you to just... I am going to be sharing my money mistakes today. So brace yourself. I'm bracing myself as well because it's about to get deep. Welcome back to the Entrepreneurship Unfiltered podcast. I am your host, Ibiyemi. I'm an entrepreneur and I made a lot of mistakes, and I am going to be sharing my money mistakes today. So brace yourself. I'm bracing myself as well because it's about to get deep. I think when you become a full-time entrepreneur, nobody tells you that your relationship with money is gonna get weird. Well, does it get weird, or does it just expose all the things, all the issues you have with money that you never dealt with? I think it's a bit of both. I remember my first month making $10,000. I was like, can't touch me. $10,000 in 1 month. I had tried, first of all, this was not immediately. This was like 2 years in. And I was so happy and I was so proud. And the very next month, I made $200. I just didn't understand the level of the high highs and the low lows that come from when you're running your own business. I want you to think about what you currently think when you think about money and coming to your business, right? Do you think about it as everything that comes in is yours? I had a client who literally did not have a business bank account and a personal bank account. Low-key, that client was me initially. Everything was just coming into the same place. But yeah, do you think about it as like, okay, this is all my money. I'm just going to spend it. I'm going to pay for my light bill. I'm going to pay for this, and that. Or are you actually thinking about reinvesting back into the business? So that's the first thing I want you to think about. The second thing I want to think about is the psychology of money. I didn't know that I had a scarcity mentality until things were scarce. Do you understand? I really didn't know. I really thought, I give, I'm open, I'm generous, I'm going to invest in myself, invest in my clients, go for the latest, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then, the account, first of all, there was a fictitious number in my head of where my account shouldn't pass. And then he passed it. And I was like, oh, okay. This is fine. And then he passed it again. And then he passed it again. And then it was like 10 to 15,000 less. I was like, wow, okay. It really exposed just how scarcity mentality was holding me back. Another thing I want you to think about when you're thinking about money and entrepreneurship is your spending habits. If in real life, so in your regular life, you are a big spender, you are likely to be a big spender in entrepreneurship, which means you're going to make money mistakes. There's 3 kind of mistakes that people make, right? And this is me putting my coach hat a little bit. I hope you allow me. Actually, it's my podcast. I can say what I want. There's 3 types of money mistakes that I usually see, right? The first one is this will change everything kind of money. Meaning, if I invest in that thing, right? Let's say you're a photographer and what's holding your destiny is the type of camera you have. Meanwhile, you really should be studying your craft, but let's leave that for now. But you think, once I get this camera, my business is going to take off. Get the money first and realize that it's actually not the camera. It's actually you. It's actually you to yourself thinking that this one purchase is going to change everything, right? So I started by saying, I'm going to tell you my stories. Let me tell you one of my stories. I don't remember what year this was, but there was a period in time where things were just not really working out in the business, right? I wasn't getting enough clients. that were at the level that I wanted. So I was getting a lot of like 1 hour here, 1 hour there clients, and I wanted to get the people that were going to invest in my long-term program. And I was watching and following these influencers on LinkedIn, right? And obviously, they're always selling their program. Buy this, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And every day, client testimonial. This person made $10,000. This person made $20,000. This person made $150K in 1 month. I said, okay, do they have 2 hits? Should be just to sign up for this program. I signed up for the program, you guys. That's what the program was. Anyways, can I even say anyways? The program was like USD. The program was a very expensive program. USD. And I went into it thinking, oh, once I just sign up with this person, everything will work. This is the purchase that's going to make everything work. Except I put so much pressure on that money. So every time I would try a tactic and it wouldn't work immediately, I would spiral. Oh my goodness, they said it was supposed to work. All the other people in the program are making money. People are doing this, people are doing that. And I'm here putting all this money in, showing up, but showing up scared. And that's the thing. You guys, if you are scared in the entrepreneurship process, you're going to make mistakes. It requires you to have a level of confidence and bravery, kind of delusional like energy, right? To be able to go out and make some of these decisions with your business. But if you're scared about spending money, it's going to show. Even if you invest in the right thing, you're going to put too much pressure on it. And that's exactly what I did. Every time that I couldn't make the call because I had a legitimate reason, I had like a client call or something else, I would freak out because I'm like, oh my goodness, that's my I didn't show up for the call. This, that. Let me go and watch the recording. So I'm now watching the recording at 1 o'clock in the morning, knowing well that I'm not a nice person. By 8 p.m., I'm tired. So why am I awake at 1 a.m. trying to make something I don't understand work because of fear? Like, it's actually counterintuitive. If you actually want the program that you invest in to work, you have to trust the process. You have to take a step back. You have to relax. You have to listen to what they are saying. You have to be able to understand the difference between what they have said and the value that they're going to deliver and where your business is actually at. So the first problem was the program was called Coaching at Scale. To scale something, it means that you have been doing it for a while, no? So why was I investing in a scaling program when I was still at the level of developing the program? And this is what happens when you're afraid of spending money, when you're afraid of spending time to actually like figure out what it is that you need. You're going to get into a place where you're putting effort into money that's not going to actually get you to what it is that you're going to do. And the reality of the situation is there's no one singular investment that's going to change everything. It doesn't exist. Actually, it does. When you invest in Jesus Christ. Yes. Changes everything. But as per programs, courses, gadgets, new technology, all those things, it's going to get you closer. Some of them can actually pull you back. But there's no one purchase that's going to change everything, right? So that's kind of like lesson 1. Second thing that I see a lot of people making mistakes when it comes to money is when it comes to taxes. Before I even start, I just want to say, hire an accountant. Just hire an accountant. Like, even if you're making $5, hire an accountant. This is my personal story. I went through a season where I thought that I could do my own taxes. I'll give you, wait, before you start shouting. I'll give you the reason why. I had been doing my own taxes for 15 years at that point. So to me, I'm like, okay, how hard can it be, right? It's the same software. All I need to do is put this in revenue versus where I would have put in like salary, And then I estimated everything I needed to pay and, I saved up, right? Because they always tell you need to put your taxes aside. If you're waiting to the end of the year to put your taxes aside, you have already failed.
Oh my God.
There's grace, but you've already failed. Just giving you just giving you that heads up. So I wasn't doing that. Every month I would put my taxes aside, right? With what they say, 13 to 15 to 20% of what you're bringing and put the taxes aside immediately. I was doing that and I was doing that and I was doing that. And I thought I was fine. So tax season came around and it was now time to pay the taxes. The number that I had saved and the number that the CRA called. CRA is Canada Revenue Agency. The number they called and the number that I had saved, they were not the same. They were not the same. And if you know anything about taxes is the beginning of the year, February. So I entered the year just with a lot of unexpected bills that I had to pay. And this is now the psychology part. I'm not somebody that likes to carry debt. So I knew that I needed to pay that off almost immediately, right? A normal person would have said, you know what? You have this large chunk to pay. Don't bankrupt your cash flow because you're afraid of debt and pay it off immediately. Set up a payment plan, right? Again, because you're afraid, and you're like, oh, I don't want to carry debt, you then use all the money in your account to pay off that debt. What happens when it comes to payroll time? Is your staff going to accept, oh, so sorry, we had to pay taxes? No, they're waiting for their money. Is your Zoom license going to say, oh, so sorry, you paid taxes? They're waiting for their money. You have to be smart about these things, right? And sometimes, again, when you're afraid, you end up making these types of decisions without really thinking through how it's going to affect you long term. So that was another mistake that I made, taxes. The final one is investing in things that really and truly you have no business in investing in. They're not strategic to your business. They're not going to add value. They're not going to be, it doesn't make sense for your business. But because you're scrolling LinkedIn and you're scrolling Instagram and you're seeing all these entrepreneurs and you're seeing the things that they're investing in, and you think to yourself, oh well, I can play along at that level. I can I could Listen, don't actually invest in things that you don't need. Don't do it. It's a waste of money, right? I remember there was a time I invested in like a PR campaign. Guys, I'm a coach. Why was I investing in a PR campaign? The product is me. And then the campaign, the way they even positioned it, it was like, oh, there are articles that are going to go out and people are going to find you and then you're going to be on the news and all these different things. Except you have to write your own article. And then you have to submit it. And then you're also paying monthly to be able to get access to the platform to submit it. So I'm like, okay, hold on. You're telling me that I need to put in time, effort, money into a strategy. Well, at the time, I didn't know there was a strategy that didn't make sense for my business. But you're telling me to put time, money, and effort into this marketing strategy that is supposed to be a long-term, long-gain thing, and you're not going to actually help? Like, they didn't actually help to publicize the articles. And then they kept bugging me every month. You need to submit your article. You need to submit your article. You need to submit. And then in the middle of trying to build my business, in the middle of trying to understand what it is I'm even offering, needless to say, you guys, it was a 1-year license. I wrote 2 articles.
Bruh.
Till tomorrow, I'm waiting for those articles to actually bring in clients. Not a one client was brought in. I didn't want to tell you how much that program cost. It's okay. It's fine. The money has passed. It's gone. It's gone. But that's what happens, right? And the allure was, oh, we'll feature you. You'll be on news stories. Da-da-da. You know how the people say, oh, as seen on ABC, as seen on. You know that they are paying. Like ABC didn't call them. Business Insider didn't call them. They paid. Guys, this thing is actually a scam. They paid to write their own article to be featured Uh anyways, it says, well, that money is gone, is dead and gone, right? So ideally, those are the three things. Those are the three things that three money mistakes. There are plenty more, right? And we'll talk more in future when we start inviting in those guests. But those are the main ones that I see a lot with entrepreneurs and a lot of mistakes that I've made personally. Okay. So now we want to go to our audience to talk about dilemmas. Okay, so we have our first dilemma of the day. I mean, I don't know why I said first. We have one dilemma for the day, and this is a money question. For context, this person is in construction. They do renovations, new builds, that kind of thing. Question is, what do you do when you're trying to save money in your business, but it actually costs you more? And she wrote here that she was buying materials in bulk. I mean, buying in bulk is actually not a bad idea, right? Like stocking up, right? This is one of the reasons why I can never do like product type business. It's like a physical thing. Like my product is in China and they have to like bring it. No, I can't do that kind of business. My own last is just my brain. But I digress. She says, for context, I thought buying in bulk was going to be good. I had a project that I was working on. So I decided to buy 300 bags of cement. And now the project has stalled, and those bags of cement are now rocks. First of all, that's crazy. I didn't know that cement could, like, it wasn't just forever. I really did think that you could just buy. Okay, so this is a good one. This is a good one. Oof, that's tough because I can see the sentiment, right? You're trying to save money. You're trying to be smart. You're actually just afraid. I'm so sorry. Actually, it's just fear. Every decision you make around money is either driven by fear or driven by hope. One of my favorite quotes, and this is a quote that I use all the time by Nelson Mandela. And it says, may your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears. And I found that like that has been like a really good guiding light, but I can see how this decision was made by fear, right? Because sis, you know that cement turns into rocks if it lies idle. So why would you buy 300 bags if you're not ready to actually use them immediately, right? I was about to say I haven't done that before. I have actually done that before. I actually lied. In my line of work, that looks like you're working with a corporation, right? An organization. You're supposed to collect deposits, 50%. They haven't signed the agreement yet, but you've already started working on the project. And then they come back to you and then they change the scope. And the 50% that you were going to charge earlier doesn't even make sense anymore. But you spent hours of your team's time, of your time, using technology, all these things to actually start working on something that you actually haven't signed yet, right? It's a form of fear, it's a form of scarcity, right? I think as business owners, because things are like feast or famine, so we either have a lot of money or like nothing has come in. When we know that we have a big project coming up that's going to bring in a lot of money, we rush. Slow down. Why are you rushing? Okay, but why are you rushing though? Okay, but why are you actually rushing? I need you to just... I actually have one money decision I've been stalling on that I need to make. Maybe you can put this in the comments, but how do you make money decisions, right? Obviously, I just gave you a framework. Faith over fear, right? But practically, how do you do that, right? I have a particular investment that I'm trying to make right now. It's not even a lot of money. I think it's like £100. It's not a lot of money. But I've been sitting on this decision for like a week, right? The program is supposed to help you make money in March, right? It's like Money March, like some fancy name, right? And it's all about like setting all these cash goals and like setting up your systems and using AI. And it's AI. Anyways, let's leave the AI talk because I've spent money on AI. Have I used anyways? Let's leave that one. But how would you actually make that decision? The program, like I said, is Money March. It's supposed to be helping you boost your sales. But at the beginning of this year, I also said to myself that I wasn't going to buy into any coaching because I bought into coaching last year. So put in the comments, how would you make this decision? Actually, by the time this comes out, I would have already decided. So maybe we can, well, Sha put in the comments. But to answer her dilemma, I would say it's okay. It's all right. You've already spent the money. You've already made the mistake. Promise you won't be making that mistake again. Promise you won't be doing that again. But don't beat yourself up. Don't start calculating what you would have spent or what you would have done with the money that you had spent. So it's already gone. Leave that money, right? Don't revert back to the past. Learn what you're supposed to learn. So really dig deep, right? Ask yourself some questions like, was I doing this out of fear? Was I actually trying to be smart? Was I taking advantage of the cost at the time? Because I know materials go up and down. Like, think about it logically so that you analyze, okay, what actually happened? And then also think about it emotionally and analyze what happened. Learn from it and just know that these things happen. You're a human being and you're not going to make that mistake again. So I hope I've been able to answer that dilemma. Thank you for writing into the podcast. So my reflection for you, my homework for you is to figure out your money psychology, right? There's an amazing book called The Psychology of Money that talks about the mindset that we approach money. So do we approach it from a scarce mentality? Do we approach it from an abundance mentality? If you do that, you'll be able to understand how to make good decisions when it comes to your money as a business owner. The reality is entrepreneurship is very expensive. And it's not just expensive in like dollars and cents. It's expensive in psychological real estate. It's expensive in emotional capacity. I always say that my entrepreneurship journey has been the single most life-changing thing I've ever done, right? It's kind of like, it's almost like God put me through a boot camp to figure out who I am, right? Who are you when you're under pressure? Who are you when you don't have this big name behind you? Who are you when you have the option to make a good decision on your business or make a bad decision on your business? Are you going to move with integrity? That's a big one. Are you going to move with integrity? So many of us want to believe that we have integrity in the way that we do business. But that also looks like paying your taxes on time. That also looks like paying your staff on time. That also looks like not taking a client that is not ready for your business. That is also integrity. And are you going to do that when you're backed up against the wall, or are you going to fold? Did you quit your job, become a full-time entrepreneur, or not quit your job, but maybe if you have a side hustle? Did you do that to just stay in a box? These are the questions I want you to ask yourself. At the end of the day, this is the long game. If you become an entrepreneur because you're just trying to make money, it's not really for you, right? You can make money in so many different ways. But if you became an entrepreneur because you have a skill set that you feel the world can get value out of, and you're trying to actually impact people. I look at Eric's team here today. I'm inspired by you guys. Sorry, that's our videographer. Inspired by it because you're helping me realize my own dream right now. That's what entrepreneurship is about, right? The money is a byproduct. If you're a good entrepreneur, you'll make money. If you work hard, you'll make money. If you move with strategy rather than, trying to scam people. I feel like there's so much scammy weirdness going on right now in the market. If you move with integrity, you will be rewarded. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. I'm going to see you in the next episode. Please make sure to like, comment. Again, if you're commenting nonsense, please don't comment. Comment and subscribe to the channel. One more thing, because I am an entrepreneur. If you are thinking about starting that side hustle, right? Starting that business, and you're looking for guidance, I have a program that can support you. If you go to my website, Foot in the Door Consulting, that's actually not my website, lol. fitdconsulting.com. You'll find a little bit more about what I have to offer. But I want to help. I really want to help you. If you're ready, right? It's not for everybody, but if you're ready, I can help. So I'll see you in the next one. And remember, the best is yet to come. Bye-bye.